One of the biggest assets to productivity is the efficient movement of material. The mobility of forklifts, their lifting capacities, and reach means you, the operator, need to be knowledgeable on the safe operation of truck-mounted forklifts. Throughout this video, we will be using these symbols that emphasize danger. An extremely hazardous situation exists on or near the machine, for which there is a high probability of serious injury or death if proper precautions are not taken. Warning: a hazard exists on or near the machine, which can result in serious injury or death if proper precautions are not taken. Caution: a reminder of safety practices or to direct your attention to unsafe practices on or near the machine which could result in personal injury if the proper precautions are not taken. Watch for these symbols. You will also find them in one of the most important documents necessary for the safe operation of the forklift, the operator's manual. It should always stay with the machine. It is very important for your safety and the safety of your co-workers that you read it before operating the forklift. Inspect your equipment daily before mounting it for transport. Verify that the load capacity plate or decal, as well as all instructions and safety labels, are in place and readable. Be sure no safety switches have been bypassed and that no warning tags have been placed on the vehicle by a previous operator. The condition of the tires is critical, so look for cracks, cuts, and refer to the operator's manual for proper inflation. And an overall inspection for cracked welds, metal fatigue, loose fasteners, and fluid leaks assures you that safe operation is in your hands. Never use forks that have been modified and do not exceed the combined capacity of the forks. Never fill the fuel tank until the engine has cooled or while near an open flame or when smoking. Always know where fire extinguishers are located. Proper fluid levels include engine oil, coolant. Hydraulic and transmission fluid should also be checked prior to operation. Once you are certain that the forklift is fit for deliveries, use proper procedures to load materials for the day's deliveries. Handholds or steps are provided for safe entry. Always maintain a 3-point contact when climbing on or off the machine. Buckling up is not an option when operating a truck-mounted forklift. It is a requirement. Adjust the seat and seat belt for comfort before starting the engine. Establish a safe routine that you follow each time the machine is started. This routine will include that all controls are in neutral, the brake is fully applied, and that no one is standing in front or behind the machine. The forks should be resting on the ground. At all times, keep hands away from the moving parts of the forklift. Contact can cause severe injury. When low batteries cannot start the engine, consult your operator's manual for recommended practices that may include jump starting from another power source. Be aware that batteries represent an explosive source, and check the battery manufacturer's recommended procedures for jump starting. In no cases is the machine to be pushed or pulled started. Hydraulic functions such as steering, brakes, and boom controls are dependent on the engine for power. A quick run-through of the machine's functions at rest will ensure proper operation. If you detect a hydraulic leak when operating the machine, never check for the leak with the engine running. Pressurized hydraulic fluid can penetrate the skin, causing serious injury or death. So use cardboard or other material when checking for leaks. Now is the time to check the machine's steering functions. Refer to the lift capacity chart to understand the machine's lifting capacity. The ability of a forklift to raise a load is based on a principle of two weights balanced on either side of a pivot point. Factors affecting this balance are the weight of the machine, the weight of the load to be lifted, and the center of gravity. The center of gravity is the single point about which the machine is balanced in all directions. The stability of the forklift is determined by the location of the center of gravity, and if the vehicle is loaded, by the combined center of gravity. Because the forklift moves the load, the center of gravity moves as the forks move up or down, in and out, and even when the fork carriage is tilted forward or backward. Surface conditions and tire pressure can also affect the center of gravity. Dynamic forces such as acceleration, braking, turning, and operating on inclines can affect the center of gravity dramatically and quickly. Always drive with the forks and load as low as possible. Remember when traveling that an unloaded forklift will tip to the side easier than a loaded forklift with its load in the lowered position. Lifting capacities are calculated utilizing a 24-inch load center. When lifting loads, insert the forks all the way. Scan your path of travel for people, hazards, and other vehicles. Transport the load as low as possible and utilize the boom back tilt function to prevent the load from sliding. Start slowly and test the braking system. Operate the vehicle smoothly with no jerky movements which could cause the load to shift. Loading materials onto the truck bed requires the skills of an experienced operator. Approach the landing area with the load held low. Retract the boom fully and then raise the boom so that the load clears the bed of the vehicle. Drive as far forward as possible, then set the stabilizers, extend the telescoping boom to position the load over the truck bed, lower the boom to set the edge of the load on the surface, and use the fork carriage tilt function to free the forks from the load. Retract the telescoping boom before raising the stabilizers and backing out slowly. Lower the forks before driving forward. A big advantage of the truck-mounted forklift is its ability to self-load for transport to the delivery site. Loading and securing the forklift is a critical operation that depends on skill and experience for the safety of the operator and others around the loaded forklift. First, ensure that the support bars of the mounting kit are fully retracted. Adjust the forks side to side to match up to the width of the fork pockets. And side shift the boom until centered on the rear shaft. Completely retract the boom. Move the forklift forward and position the forks so that their entire length is inserted into the fork pockets without touching the pockets. Place the machine in neutral and apply the parking brake. Raise the forklift by lowering the boom to its limit. Once fully raised, tilt the truck completely forward. Straighten the steer wheel. Remove your seat belt and exit the compartment. Using the hook provided, extend the support bars so that they clear the main frame. If required, extend the boom momentarily so that the supports clear the frame of the forklift. If you extended your boom, retract it and tilt the truck back so that it rests on the supports. Stop the engine and remove the key. Attach the safety straps to the eyes provided. Do not attach safety straps to the step. Connect the light plug to the vehicle and check for proper operation. Upon arrival at the delivery site, park in a location that will have minimal impact on traffic and pedestrians. Set the parking brake on the transport vehicle and remove the straps from the hooks. Disconnect the running lights and secure them to the forklift. Properly mount the forklift and start the engine. Position the steer wheel in the straight-ahead position. Retract the boom fully. Raise the forklift by tilting fully forward and extending the boom if required. Secure the supporting arms of the transport vehicle. Lower the lift truck by carefully using the control lever that controls boom movement. Use the carriage tilt lever to place the rear wheel on the ground and back away slowly until the forks are clear of the vehicle. A walk around of the delivery site allows you to see the conditions you will encounter when moving material. Check for overhead lines and their height compared to the maximum lift height of the machine. Contact with electrically charged wires is extremely dangerous and will likely result in serious injury or death. Grade changes, tree limbs, loose backfill, exposed sprinkler heads, and other hazards need to be identified. Create a safety zone with cones and instruct everyone in the area to keep far back from the forklift and load. Approach the vehicle slowly until the tires or stabilizers are a few inches from the vehicle. Set the stabilizers and extend the boom as necessary to fully insert the forks under the load. Raise the boom slowly until the load has cleared the vehicle bed. Tilt the fork carriage back slightly to stabilize the load and retract the boom. Raise the stabilizers and slowly back away, checking for people or materials in your path. Lower the forks to travel height before proceeding to the delivery location. Remember, safety is the responsibility of the operator. Taking charge of your safety means starting the workday with the right attitude, good physical condition, proper safety gear, and a machine properly prepared for the job. Don't take chances. Your well-being as well as other workers around you is at stake. Avoid sloping ground if possible and do not drive on excessively steep slopes. When ascending or descending slopes, keep the load pointing up the slope and approach the hill straight on.
When unloaded, travel only with the forks downhill.
When descending, use low gear or low range to permit engine compression to assist the brakes in controlling vehicle speed. If you must drive on a slope, keep the load low and proceed carefully. Avoid turning on an incline, but if you must, keep the turn wide and slow. All turns should be made slowly and deliberately. The rear wheel steer provides excellent maneuverability, but the forklift may become unstable if turns are executed at high speeds. If you feel the forklift tipping, stay in your seat with the seat belt fastened. Brace yourself and lean away from the impact. Do not attempt to jump. The machine's rollover protection structure is designed to keep you safe as long as you stay in your seat. Make sure the surfaces that you're going to drive over can support the full weight of the loaded machine. Gently lower the load until the forks are free and parallel to the landing surface so that they may be easily retracted. Lower the forks to traveling height before moving the machine. Special situations require extra caution, such as entering a building with the machine. Overhead clearance must be checked with the boom in the carry position. Also allow time for your eyes to adjust for different lighting. Under no circumstances should the forklift be used to elevate people. Whenever the machine is to be parked, choose solid, level ground. Always place the forklift in neutral or the park position, apply the parking brake, lower the forks, turn the ignition switch off, and remove the key. Never leave the operator's compartment with the engine running. If you must park on a hill, park straight up the slope, set the parking brake, and chock the wheels. This concludes our orientation to the operation of truck-mounted forklifts. Practice the procedures discussed in this video and study the operator's manual prior to attempting operation in actual work situations. Good operating practices ensure maximum productivity from you and your machine, and most importantly, prevent job site injuries.